Hello, comrades. It's Premier River at my grand city of Nueve Revergrad. We are getting things built. We've got a lot of this section of the city going, and I didn't spend too much time between the episodes. I just kind of went around and made sure the construction-y people were constructioning, and they seemed to be. So, well, I had to give them a few more things to do, but once we get these houses built, and really even more than those houses in some ways, like I want to make sure we have the kindergartens. Are the people that are here now happy? Not really. And what are they not happy about? Building is without power supply. That is kind of a significant issue. Yeah. Did we not build any power here? No one lives here, but it has power. So they probably are getting power from here. Yep, so if we clicked on these, they wouldn't have power. So I think we could certainly get a power thing in over here, right? I don't think I have anything else planned. How about over here? They have power, and they're probably getting it from right there. Let's see where that reaches to. Yeah, so like this one won't have power. Okay, yeah, so I think this, hopefully this will reach to there anyway, right? At least that's our hope. All right, so let's go over and yeah, let's zoom out a little bit more. Just so we make sure we can see where it's going, right? Now the problem is I don't really have a road there. Yeah, the power. So I think if I put it right behind this school, or kindergarten, whatever that is, right? So let's go ahead and take, before I do that, let's attach that up, right? And then I'm going to just delete it a little bit. And I did get an interesting comment. Let me see if I understand the comment, but let's put this in first. It's that you can double back on the wires. Yeah, see, I don't think I'm really going to get it in. Yeah, we'll just go like this. But we'll see if we can't do a little experiment with the, quote, double back on the wires. And at first I really had no idea what he was talking about. But then kind of figured it out. There we go. And then we'll delete this. And then so that should get that attached. And then, so I think what he's saying is that we can, like if you're running your wires, they won't go at a sharp angle. Right, so let's, like, for example here, like if we wanted to go that direction, we can't do it. But I think what he's saying is, like, we could go this way, right? Yeah, well, some other, yeah, see, look, you could double back. Do you see what I mean? So now we could actually go this way. So let's just see if we can't do that just for the sake of, yeah, see, it's not going to let me go only so close. So really for us in this case, but if for some reason you didn't want to build something right here, you know what we could do? This is what we could do when it comes to doubling back. I want to go over to here, right? So if we were to run a wire, keep game safe. Right down to here, say. Right, see, we could double back. Right? Like it, you know, they can go backwards on themselves, which isn't something, you know, normally I'd have done like a big loop. And in that case there, it's, uh-oh, we got a fire. Good job, guys. Yeah, I think we're building another fire station down this end. So anyway, so there we go. So we'll commit to that, and then we'll get them some power over here before we move people in. Now, if there's a few sneak in, that's going to be on them. All right, so let's at least get one of these guys working on that. All right, so that should cover all the other power needs right there. I hope it does. Now, is there any other Yeah, so what are we not happy about? Church. Well, that's electronics, cultural enjoyment. Yeah, there's not that many people there, so they're none of them are happy about any of these things, which could be because I don't know that we even have. Yeah, no sports, no this, no that, but I don't even know, do we have a train stopping here? Yeah, we do have one, but yeah, well, we're just going to pay attention to it later. If those 4 people escape, I'm kind of okay with that for the minute. We'll get it all fired up at once, or mostly. And then what that'll let us do is fire up more of the coal mines. Now, I did get a comment, oh, we need more coal mines. 2 things to say about that. One, we have the coal mines we do, and at this point, we are producing, way more coal than we need for these 2 power plants. So we have 3 coal mines over here. 1, 2, 3. Now, they're all decent. Plus, we have, I never really counted like how many coal mines, the steel mills, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So we have 9 coal mines, though not all of them are really great. I did have a question about, does the last coal mine here feed into the coal system? Just for a real quick review, for those of you who may not have caught the whole design of this thing, we have coal mines all the way along the mountain where the coal is. Each of these feeds into a station here, right? And they're all pumped in. And then we have pumped out from this one into this, did I say station? I meant it's storage yard, right? So these 3, the first 3 go into this storage yard. And then it gets pumped out of this storage yard into this one. And then the next 3, 1, 2. Wait. Oh, what happened here? Are we missing a... Something seems to be missing. Yeah, I don't know why I built that. But these 2 go into there anyway, right? So 1, 2, 3 go into the first one. And then 1... 2 go into the second one, and then I have another one of these. Maybe I could have put a mine up here that I never built. I think there is more, certainly a possibility of putting one there. But in any event, so then that yard feeds into this yard down here, which then this last one feeds into this yard, and then they pump into these 4. So my expectation would be that these 4 would probably get the best, always have coal, even if it ran low. But then, the whole system would back up. Like if we're getting way too much coal into this yard, then this yard, which is what's happening right now, right? This yard's full, and then this yard feeds into this one. This yard feeds into these 3, or 4, sorry, that's 4. And then this yard here, right, feeds into, if you look, all 4 of these. All right, so this yard's feeding these 4. This yard just feeds this one, but then feeds down to this one, which feeds these 4. So it's all connected, and then we have 2 train stations, each with 2 tracks, one way through them, so we could have up to 4 trains sitting in here loading up coal. You can see they're pretty much doing loops right now because they're just not we're hardly using any of the coal as it is. So once they get done looping, what they do, the loop is to come down to here and drop off as much coal as they can at this one, which fills these yards for these power. So each power plant has a yard, and then it comes in and drops off the remainder to the bricks, right? So it sort of prioritizes the power plants, which you would definitely want to do. And then sort of an afterthought. I mean, we're not going to even be doing much building, but we got mega brick facility there for what we need. So that's going to drop off there, and then when they get done dropping off there, it comes over to here, and then we have 2 more yards. So there's, in a sense, it's one loop, but it gets broken off, so we can divide the trains up here. So if we're making more down in this one, which I expect to always have good coal, we could put more trains to come to this station and drop off here. Right, so this is then the train that takes coal out into the rest of the world. There's 2 different stops. Again, we could have up to 4 trains in here coming off of these, which is the coal that comes back after it goes to those power plants and bricks, right? And then we have what I call the coal loop, which is really just mostly, almost entirely just for coal trains. So that coal train can come into here, right? And then where's the coal for this one? Right here. So we can send trains up to here, or it could just bypass it. Say this is its own separate loop here, and that would feed into this big mess, which is 2 stations to provide coal to these power plants. Now somebody asked, do we have to have a pump? If you don't have a pump, it doesn't show up here, but it pumps in fine, right? Like as soon as they have workers in here, you might see a little like half a ton of coal. It just doesn't pump out and fill up, which I don't understand why they don't have it do that. There might be some reason, but it's fine. Like it's just a weakness, in my opinion, of the coding, but who knows? There could be some kind of legitimate reason for that. And anyway, so there you go. So this has been working fine, other than we have only 5 workers, right? So production stopped, cannot export steel, so we need to get, but again, I want to get this done over here before we really worry about ramping this up, and because there's just a lot of things to do when your map gets this big. So just so you know, like I have this built here so that like here comes the trains around the back here, right? And they can come in, drop off. But I can also send them, like after they get done this, I could have them come down here and drop off coal. And this is like a mini version of what we just saw, where we have a much smaller loop there, right? But these trains on this inner loop are looping around with coal. Their priority is to drop off here to provide power to these 2 power plants. There's no brickworks over here. But then they come out and they can go to either one of these 2 stations and drop off whatever they didn't drop off to the power plants. And then we have trains coming in here to take coal, and they just basically loop around and come back into the steel. So I could have like the trains go all on this loop with no other traffic all the way up to those coal mines over there, loop through here, and then pick up coal over here if we wanted, right? So we have like every which option to go back in and out of here with trains. So if I wanted to take trains that would drop off here from over there and then take it up to, like, say here, we could do that, which is actually what we're doing right now, right? So, we can really take this coal on this coal loop and go every which way, but obviously I think we're going to need a lot of coal for the, 375 tons of coal per day. And if you multiply that, what's that? Let's just call it 400, it'd be 1,600. I think we're going to be okay. I mean, and again, if we're not, good Lord, we're making a lot of steel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this one's going to make 120 if it were at 100%. So, yeah, like we have 10 of these over here. So right here is 1,200, right? It theoretically, if we had all of them up to 100% snuff. And by the way, this is about, if you do the math on the mines, all right, so here's our mines. If you do the math on how much, like this is only a 21% source. So if you had 220 people in here and you could do the maximum of, what is it? I forget per worker. You come here, right? No. Gravel. Core. So if you look, it says, where does it say? 100. Oh, that's an iron mine. Maximum number of workers 4.2. So each one of these, in theory, could do that's about 800. Call it for sake of a round number. So if this is only 33%, you do 30 or 32%. 1/3 of 800 is like 250 or 270, something like that. So this would put out 270. If you add up all of these mines, this is about the right number, maybe an extra one to keep ahead of all that coal production. So let's just say these will all be full in theory. That's 10 of them, or I'm sorry, 9 of them. So that's, 1,100 or something in that ballpark. And then we have these 3, right? So that's another 360. So we're actually really close on how much coal we're going to get, right? Now, again, you know, are we ever going to get to that point of think about the number of trains we're just going to need exporting to keep up with this. But hey, we're going to do some of that stuff over the next couple weeks, you know, or next week. We'll see when we end it. But that's, you know, I definitely like to see this fired up a lot more than it is and see what issues and problems we end up having. Oh, the lonely bulldozer heading on out. Yeah, so I did start building our little road into our town here. And then I also got, might be something that we do before the end. I went and got some more mods and mostly like monuments. Yeah, see, like, so we could put a monument here like Motherland Calls. Now, I don't know if we want it. Do we put 2 of them in there? You know, and then so I got, yeah, see, I wasn't sure the size of these things, and I just crashed the game. That monument we may not be going with. See you in a second. Okay, I came back more or less to the right place, but I just clicked on Iron Felix Monument there and just crashed the game. So let's see. This one's got the same printing. Might be the same person. Does this crash it? No. So what I was thinking of with these, see, this is like a spaceship one, or I'm sorry, a jet plane one. Over here, I just had like Lenin statues. So I was thinking of maybe we could do something with a couple of these. Now, I don't know that I have all of them. I think I saw like a Navy monument. But let's come back here to do this. All right, get rid of these 4 that we already have there. And then we can, yeah, do we have enough? So okay, so we have 1, 2. We're not going to do Iron Felix, at least not right now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, submarine. So let's hope we don't crash. Let's put on the wireframe so we can space them out nicely, right? Let's see. Hopefully they're in the... Yeah, whoever... The space monument is far less impressive, I think, than some of the others. Right, that looks like the path of this one's out the back. Alright, so there's a space monument. And that's made by somebody else, but then we could do... I can't... I really wish we could turn... Yeah, so we'll do... It doesn't matter. Right, is that... Alright, submarine monument. And then what else do we have? We have MiG-21 monument. Alright, and then let's do... We already did submarine, MiG-21. Where was the other one? A rocket. Now, actually, if we're going to do... Maybe we'll do this one this way. Yeah, this is like a space monument. Maybe we do something else here. Just because that one doesn't really fit. And maybe the mod guy has another one that I just didn't realize there, right? And then we could talk about just the regular monuments. Yeah, okay, so let's go. What do we have here? You know, maybe then we just do like the Soviet emblem. Alright, and then we'll need some footpaths. So let's... I think what I'd like to do... Can we do... You know what I'd do? I'd run this long. Yeah, you know, why don't we attach it up? Of course you're not going to go attaching too well, are you? And then we'll do like the same thing, you know, pretty close over here. It's in the way. Right, let's go. You know, we're not going to be able to attach there too well, are we? So we'll just do cheaty. Alright, and then this can come out kind of straight from that one. And then over here we could have like this. this one can kind of come out straight from that one. Right. And then right, so there's four. And then you know what we could do here? Let's by the way, I'm not a big fan of the Soviet Union, but I have no problems with the Russian people, right? I mean, the Russian people that I've ever met seem to be pretty decent folks. And so when it comes to something like Motherland Calls, I can absolutely appreciate their love of their country and the reason that a lot of them fought so hard in World War II. And you know, I mean, I would protect my homeland in much the way they did, very proudly. And they sacrificed a lot during that war. I mean, you could talk about Stalin and all this other stuff, but you know, the Russian people have a lot to be proud of. So there we go. So motherland, you know, and that's what they fought for, was their motherland. So now we have a much more impressive statue. How much is that? Not even overly that expensive a statue. And then maybe what we do is I put Motherland Calls here that will sort of, you know, maybe the two motherlands, because we need to make my house quite spectacular too. Let's spin this around like this so it's facing out. Right, which means eventually we'll have to get some kind of a path over to that, but then let's do this, get rid of that, and then we'll have, like, you know, the two Motherland Calls kind of facing each other, even though that TV tower is kind of blocking their view of each other. But that's okay. And somebody had asked a long time ago, why all the TV stations? Well, they were the biggest, grandest building without me getting into mods. At the end here, I don't mind the mods, like, but just like, look, this Felix Monument, who would have thought that would have crashed the game? I'm afraid to even click on it now, right? So when you get into these mods, you really don't know. I mean, some guys are great, know what they're doing. Again, I don't like to pick on mod makers because, you know, what they do for free and for the rest of the community. I mean, I'm sure they do it for their own, you know, I mean, just like I make videos and appreciate all of your feedback and whatnot. I'm sure they do it for some of them do it for the same reasons, because they enjoy it and, you know, they like to be part of the community in that way. So I don't like to pick on them, but not all of them know what they're doing, you know, at the same time. So yeah. But again, like, I think that just from the typing on those things, it seems like these three things are the same. So why that one wouldn't work, I have no idea. But we now have, you know, I don't think we have a submarine force, but we now have, you know, submarines, the Air Force, and this would be like our Kerbal Space Program rocket monument, right? And something to warn you guys about. Just for the next week or two, I'm going to do Space Engineers. So they might go to every 3 days with this series. So I hope that doesn't bother too many people. But, you know, I'm going to keep doing the farm sim. Let me know what you guys think of that. But we're going to have another space program in a sense. And if you haven't ever played Space Engineers, it's a fun game. I'm just going to do like hopefully a relatively short series of me getting into space. We'll see how popular it is. I'll cut it off like I have other ones if you guys don't want to watch it. But in the meantime, yeah, just to give you guys a little heads up on that. But there we go. So we did a little bit of decorating, and I don't want to get into that too much until get the roads in here a little bit more. Like, I don't want to get too far ahead of it when we got other things to do. We got a fair amount of road building to get done first, and I'd rather kind of start getting the steel going too. So, but I do want to take a look as we're running time forward here and talking an awful lot, and just see how we're doing. I just saw like our imports, so electronics. Now we expect the electronics to not necessarily be an issue, but I expect to be exporting those once in a while, because a few episodes ago, and let's just double check that this is the fact, I increased the amount, I don't know where the electronics are over here, that each of these holds. So let's just go see if all of them got filled up yet. No, see, this one's not filled up yet. So what's happening is we're shorting some of them, right? So in other words, as we drop off more than is really necessary here, see, this one probably just got a train load. Is this the train? No, that's food train. But in other words, like now we're not going to drop any off in GW if that's the way the loop is going. So until this one fills up, we won't get any here. And my bet is we probably don't have too many in Farminsky either, right? Yep. Now, so we're getting low. So by increasing the amount we're holding, you need to be producing that much. Now, how are we doing here? Yeah, see, we don't even have that many here right at this moment. Now, we can come by and take a look as to why that might be. And it might just be that we don't, yeah, I mean, we're running pretty good. I mean, obviously we could have a few more people in there, but, you know, our factories are running and they have all the stuff. It's just we're not, I think we're producing plenty. We're just trying to fill up, you know, many, many more than we need into those warehouses. So when you talk about, like, there has been comments about, oh, you'd be more efficient if you put more food into this warehouse. Well, that's not true. The issue is, do we have enough to go in between train loads, right? So right now, we're not buying food. If I ramped up the amount of food in here, that's not going to change the fact that I'm not dropping off enough food to here, right? And in the short run, what it's going to do is going to stop food from, like, say this was like the first stop and then this was the second one. For a while, we're going to be buying it here because this one wouldn't be full because we dropped all the food off over here. So, you know, you need to make enough food. It doesn't matter how big your storages are. You know, once you fill the storage up, if we are dropping enough food, then eventually we would fill the storage up here and then we would start taking, but it doesn't really matter, does it? You just end up with like 200 here that you don't need, like at that point, because you only need X amount, you know, flowing through, like type thing. So that was the problem we had earlier. Now there may be circumstances, but really you don't ever need to hold in one of these depots too much more, allowing for problems and issues, which you'll always have. We really don't need to hold any more stuff here than we would use in between the train trips, is the point. So in other words, you know, if we're talking about clothes, do we need this much clothes? Well, at this point, you know, we've only used, you know, 6 clothes or whatever it is. You know, now when will the train come back? That's another question. But if the train comes back pretty shortly, like, you know, other than the fact we want to purchase it, we could get by with a very limited number. Like, let's see, what would we purchase? 20 tons. Like, at this point, if there was a train coming right around the corner now, and I don't know when the last train dropped off here, but, you know, if we had 30 tons of clothes here, that would be plenty, right? That would be like a buffer. We're using 6, and then, you know, you're going to get another 10 dropped off very shortly, and, you know, before the next train comes, you know. But again, that's a lot of micromanaging. There's electronics or electrical components. So anyway, there we go. So let's take a look at the economy and see what else. We bought something else. No, we're just buying more electronics, which is good. Let's see what this year looks like. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is probably when we purchased little things. Food, though. We did buy food a couple times. Let's see. We haven't done it in a while, but we'll see if that trend keeps up. Bricks, boards. Again, these are all probably, the electronics are the other thing. And I expected to have that issue. Now, let's go back and take a look at our imports. So we actually imported from the gravel and bitumen. Probably just when I was building roads, I guess. I'm not sure why they would. I don't really remember building that many for roads. I'm wondering if there's not. Yeah, look, we just bought some more and I didn't build a road. Is it because one of these guys, like, it could be one of these tanks here set to purchase if we're out. And we are working on our thing over here. So is that, yeah, see, both of our trains are kind of. Yeah, but I don't know that we're not. Yeah, oh, you know what I did? I shut this off, didn't I? So we really need to shut that off. I shut it off in anticipation of having a problem because I was going to delete this stuff, but I don't think I'm going to delete this stuff. So let's Let's ramp this guy back up. I'll just put it up to 200 because I think that's more than we would need anyway. All right, so next time a bus comes, we should actually get people in here because I don't... For those of you who didn't see this, it's only a few episodes ago. You might want to go watch, but we are going to pump bitumen out of here into this pump. Where we're going to pump bitumen out of our factory into this tank. And then I'm hoping that this pump will prioritize sucking it out. And even if it doesn't, when these trains aren't here, it will suck it out and put it into here. And then the trains that come into this station are going to be our domestic supply. So these two oil tanks will hold our domestic supply. And then hopefully these trains will only get the excess, right? So that these two trains, or whatever trains are in here, will go and export extra stuff, right? So then the trains that come into here will just do like an internal loop to like these places. And hopefully these trains will get prioritized. And if it doesn't work out that way, or for some reason these are sucking up the most of it, I'm going to flip this thing around backwards and try to put the trains into here that are doing the domestic supply. There you go. So that's one of the last improvements that I have on my list. I did get asked a question about, are you going to do like trucks or are you going to do boats? And no, probably not on this map. I mean, we probably could do something down here by Chemsol, but there's really no necessarily place that I would take those chemicals. Like, you know, I mean, I guess we could have like another depot here and truck it in, and then this river doesn't connect to that other river, so there certainly could be maybe something we could do, but because these rivers don't connect, it's sort of, you know, there's just not a real lot of reason for us to do that. But in the next map, when we start the next one of my map criteria is going to be that we have, you know, we're definitely going to have some barges and boats and stuff like that in the next map, which, even though it may be 2 weeks, is, you know, going to be here before we know it. So there you go. So we will get into more. The next map, I'll be more inclined to do modding, other than, yeah, you really need to be careful with modding with doing YouTube videos. It's one thing if you crash and corrupt your map, you know, when you're just playing on your own. If you're trying to make a series for people, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking if you destroy your whole map. And I'm sure you've heard of that happening to people in the past. So there we go. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. We could decorate a little bit more. Let's go and take a look at what other mods I brought in. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. This road was just like a space holder, or not a space holder, but a dividing line. Yeah, let's come over here. Yeah, put on the wireframe and come to roads. So this dirt road was just a, you know, like construction road. You know, we got a bunch of. Alright, so we'll get rid of that for a second, because another mod that I got, hopefully this doesn't cause a problem, hockey stadium. And so we have, I think that's a football stadium, right? Yeah, we could even do like a train station there if we really wanted to, right? Now, why are we yellow? Oh, because of this all the way over there? We can live with that. Let's just level out a little bit more. All right, let's go to the leveling tool and there we go. So we'll put our hockey stadium here. We'll make these walkie roads. There we go. All right, so let's turn the wireframe off. So we now have a hockey stadium. What is the next? Was there something else I got? Yeah, most of this stuff is things I used during the live stream. Now, we can get into some of this stuff potentially in the next map, but yeah, forklift road crossing. And then I think there's also a forklift, what do you call it? Forklift railroad crossing too. So that would be a cool one. I don't think I downloaded that one, but. And then hockey arena. Yeah, these monuments. The transformer is cool. That's by Off the Rails, and he has his own YouTube channel. You can check it out. But this allows you to pass through without having to need a switch for each transformer, which is really a cool mod. Not sure how well you can see it with the sign there, but you know that just saves you having to put a switch every time you put a transformer in. And then yeah, so that's the most of the mods. Now the other thing, maybe what we can do is turn this into, yeah, like we would do something like this. All right, is that? Let's put on the wireframe so I can line things up nice. And then let me change the angle of the dangle. Go back out a little bit. Are we? All right, let's. Nope, hit the wrong button. Is that straight? Yeah, so this is. All right, and then we'll skip. Like here, right? And then maybe we could do the opposite. Oop, wrong buttons. I think those are lined up pretty well anyway. We'll skip one. Then let's do, just because we can, just 2 of these, right? There you go. And we'll skip 2 spaces. I guess that would have to be like there. Yeah, road didn't end up, or paths didn't end up perfectly straight. It's kind of a shame they both have 2 different things. I'm not sure how well you guys could see that, but yeah, that looks pretty cool coming up to my house, right? And then, yeah, you know what? Let's try this again. I could use another cup of coffee anyway. Ah, look, Felix Monument didn't crash. Maybe it wasn't Felix Monument's fault. It's always easy to blame the wrong person, right? Let's zoom back out a little bit, and I think we should have Felix Monument, yeah, facing out this way. Now, this is where it's a little bit of a shame if we don't have, yeah, I think I'll go over to this block here. All right, and then the equivalent would be what? Yeah, 1, 2, kind of 3 here. All right, so then we'll have 2 Felix monuments there. All right, and then how about, oops, wrong button. How about a row of birch trees? All right, we'll just play at each one. Oh, wait, you know what we need? Let's do the footpath first. So I'm thinking we have, yeah, let's go from like all the way up here just so we can, right, and then we'll do like the same thing here. All right, and then these can each come hopefully reasonably straight. Even though I don't think I did them as reasonably straight as I was hoping. Not sure if it's going to let me now. Okay, good. Right, and then this could be like a walkway. No, you're not gonna let me do that, but you'll let me do this, right? Yeah. Let's make this one longer. All right, and then we'll do that bit. I don't want these people walking up to my house if they come to visit the monuments, right? And then can we just do like that? All right. And now let's go here and here. And we'll do a tree on every block. We're doing pretty well. This is not the most accurate placer, or at least it's a little hard, you know, like it's a little hard to be too overly accurate. But we're doing fine. All right, and then the same thing on the other side. All right, and the only thing about that, we might want to do, actually have road access. So what we'll do is this road access over here, which may delete our tree we just planted, but all right, we'll do like this and this. All right, so that, you know, what we could do is we could have like guard towers here. We'll see if we can find something that looks like a guard tower. So, you know, we'll have this road here that comes up, but then we can also have like the back roads. Yeah, well, I guess people could just come right in. Yeah, we'll just have to put guard towers like, well, I guess we really just need one here, but we should have like an electrified fence like somewhere where you can't really see it from the house, that and like machine gun posts. You know, we don't want the rabble coming in to bother us. So let's commit to the footpaths. All right, so it's coming together. Now, do we want to bring the row of trees? No, well, I think we want to do something with the row of trees. I think what we do is we bring it across the road, but then we bring it along the top of the hill, right? So we skip. All right, so we're all right, and then we'll come over here and kind of do the same thing. I'll be curious to see. Hopefully these look good when they're all grown up. All right, so let's take a step back, turn off the wireframe. Yeah, so we'll need to do some more here, but that'll be nice. You know, probably could even talk about. Now, I don't know if are there tree mods. I didn't really look for that, like, or bushes mods. Like, the problem with these bushes here is that they're, I don't know, I feel like they're pretty big, but we could probably put, you know, a couple of them in, see what they kind of look like. All right, we'll just put a bush here. Or maybe I'm thinking of these poplars. I think the poplars are pretty massive. Yeah, maybe we'll put another one here and here. I think that's pretty even. Yeah, maybe we'll just put wireframe probably would help just to even it out. Yeah, we'll put one like there. Are those even? Yeah, I guess so. I guess it would be here. Something's throwing my eyeball off. I don't know, right there. Ain't gonna worry about too much. So we'll see what those look like. I think they get awful big compared to what I really want. And then what I'm thinking of back here is, yeah, and this is where we might use the tool just to like kind of hide the power blinds, because we wouldn't want to see those from here, right? Yeah, so we're not gonna be able to put too many right there. Yeah, so that's all right. That we'll do the best we can. Yeah, we'll get maybe let's make it a nice even row, like right, trying to stay. Can't really do it too much because the whole power lines aren't even, but all right, so I have a bunch of pine trees. And do we want to put some pines? Yeah, let's just put a few back over here, just so it looks a little more like I didn't. I didn't do too much leveling in that area. All right, and how about put some more up here? Will look nice. Cover up a little bit of that ugliness that I made over here earlier. Just mostly because we could see it from my house, which is just not right. All right, that should block the view for the most part, right? Oh yeah, we'll hardly be able to see that ugliness from here. All right, let's turn off the wireframe, see what it looks like. Yeah, I think that's, starting to come together. Still have plenty of work to do on it, but nice. I can live with that. Cool. All right, let me take a break for 1 minute just for personal reasons. And then when I am done, I will get that cup of coffee I mentioned. I will then come back and we'll go take a look at what our construction guys are doing, and I'm not even sure how long the episode is with our crashes that we had, or the crash that we had, so I need to go check on the time as well. All right, I'll see you guys in a minute. So let's go see how our constructions are doing. Yeah, we're making progress as we get more and more of these roads built. Yeah, we definitely want to get these guys on these roads over here. So let's go open up all three of these. These guys are also going to be working on our house. And then I thought about something that I forgot. Let's move this guy over, and when I say I forgot, like before the episode, we have this guy over here. Could certainly, he's close enough to reasonably contribute to something. All right, so let's you're just about done that. There's no point in assigning too many people to that. We never did attach our hockey stadium, did we? You know what, though? Let's have you get onto this road, because you have a roller and a paver. You know what? You could use another open haul, couldn't you? Let's go get him an open haul if we have one. That one's got stuff in it. Do we have any over here? Just because I'd like to kind of know, like when we get down to very few over here, then I'll know to go make more. So let's. All right, so that way, when it comes to bringing the excavator and all that stuff back, it'll be a little bit quicker, hopefully. All right, good. So now let's head back over here, and the other thing, I guess we can have you help with that and that as well. And then, you know what, you might as well just help with other stuff. Let's put this guy on here as well. I think that's all of the roads completed. Yeah, you're not really doing much with that stuff, are you? Well, we just got a lot on the list. Now this is the, yeah, this is the supply helper. Yeah, let's get you helping with that. I think I put them on all these buildings. But let's also get them helping with that. Yeah, so this road will be done in a minute or 10. We just have to roller it. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be a little while before we build the roads into there, but there you go. So let's go check on, I guess, Electrical Town. This guy can get more. Yeah, we got enough people on that road. Let's just see about giving them a few more houses. Now, the other thing we're doing is this, but we didn't have the roads built, so good. So now we can get these 4 things assigned. We don't have a road to that one? No, we don't. We need a road. All right, and then this guy can help out a little bit. Do too. Isn't there a little pipe in between? Let's get this out of the way. Yes. So we can work on those pipes. Good. Now how is our... What happens here is when they don't go far enough, I guess maybe he was in there. I don't think there... We'll take a look in a second. Let's delete this signal so this guy can get out of here. Do we even... I don't even know that we really need that, other than we're now holding up our chemical train, huh? Here, let's do this. We'll cheat a little bit. Alright, we'll let that guy through. He'll get through before that guy gets there. At least they don't get out of our hair. Oops. Oh, it's feeding back. Yeah. You know, we really don't need. There we go. That should let them keep going this way. We might want to put a little more signaling in when we start building this one, or else they'll... Really, the signaling we'd want there would be like this, huh? Right, so it doesn't feed back through this way. And then we'd really probably also want signaling here. And I just crashed the game? No. Okay. It scared me because I moved the mouse and it didn't. A little nervous when it comes to placing these things. There we go. So that should get them across there pretty quickly. That's always good to check your constructions. Oh, you didn't spend long in there, did you? Well, you're going to have to wait a minute until he leaves the zone. Okay, good. So we'll get this road built. We'll get that done. And this should be... Yeah, this really shouldn't take too long. We'll have to come back and electrify a lot of this stuff, but we should be ready to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to knock down some of this stuff, for those of you guys who haven't been following too closely. So we'll have a railroad track that comes in here, and this will be a track for people. We'll have a station over here to go to our oil thing, our oil refinery, drop off people there so we don't have to rely on these buses anymore. And then we could also have the option of taking people over to here to our steel mill or our coal mine from the other side of our city. So once we fire this up, we'll have 2 stations here. If we ever wanted to have more people, we could, you know, get some more a little bit closer to this station here. Probably, you know, now that I'm looking at it, probably would actually be more beneficial than you realize to have this. Right, that little things like that might be the difference between, not roads. That might be the difference between getting that many more people in, right? So we probably could actually do something like that. And you know what? Maybe people would even want to drive their car there. And where's our construction office? Right there. Let's see. We'll get. He's auto searching, so he already found those. Good. Yeah, little tiny improvements like that can make a difference. Like even here, you know, like can these guys walk, for example? Yeah, but it's a longer walk, I think. Well, let's see if we get another footpath in. And what did I do? All right, so they'll have a little shorter walk, and then same thing here. Maybe people would be more inclined to drive there, and then they could walk over. And they could, that's probably not necessary because they could probably just, they could have probably walked down this footpath. But this does cut off some distance. And hey, every minute that they spend less traveling is another minute that they could be working or doing enjoyment or whatever else they need to do in a day. Just make sure these got assigned. Good, so those will get auto-completed. There we go. Now, one other thing I want to check before the episode's over is, and this is, if I have a regret, and it's really not my fault, right, is the train situation. And in that, I mean, I really do kind of wish I had 2 of these train things, but it looks like we're doing okay with making trains. Let's see, how many, we can certainly put some more in there. How many can we fit in here? 1, 2, 3, 7. And we just sent, so we'll have 3 in there. So I do wish I had 2 of these, at least, for a map this big. But we didn't have, this was not a thing when I laid out this auto area months and months ago. There was no option for trains. Now, where are you going? Okay. I hope you can get back in and all. Yep, so there we go. So maybe the two of them go a long way around. So we can talk about what we're producing here. And I decided to do the trains because they're the most friendly in a sense to, well, like the most expensive part. So let's see which of these do we have? You know what I want to buy? I want to buy another license for a cargo wagon. Let's get the biggest cargo wagon that we can. So this is 87, 79, 70. There's not another one there. Nope. So we're going to get these cargo wagons. All right, and then once this gets done, I might start producing. I don't want to waste the construction if I can kind of catch it, you know, but eventually let's start making some wagons. I don't know how many trains we'll need, but we can make hopper cars, right? So what I'm thinking of is hopper cars and those flatbeds to start ramping up our steel. And again, I'm not going to sit around and wait. We'll keep that guy producing a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to sit around and wait. We'll just buy trains when we need them, if it comes down to it, as far as like ramping up the number of workers, because that's the other thing we could start making is more of these trams. Now, we should have a few in here, right? I've been putting them in this other... Yeah, so we have 3, and we could maybe switch over to making those. And like I said, I kind of wish I had another one. You know, if I made another map this big, I would definitely consider having 2 trains, just because it takes quite a while to build each train, though. It does save us quite a bit of money if we make our own. But money's really not our biggest problem at this point, so... All right, one last thing I wanted to check, and then I'll probably let a little bit of time play in between the episodes. Wait, you know what? 2 more things. Let's come up here. Yeah, that's a little bit of a... you're not even going to let me... Let's see, can we do this? Nah, what's going on there? It's too close. Right, let's just demolish this Rivergrad Stadium. And we need to put it someplace we can attach it. Mods. Stadium. And let's do the wireframe so we know we're square. This is too important of a building to... Alright, that's, you know what, let's turn it... let's turn it this way. We'll keep it a little bit further away from the... It's sort of in line with the stadium over there, right? Or with the hockey stadium. Let's do roads. Walkie road. We're going to demolish that pole. Hopefully pretty carefully. Alright, Walkie road. I don't want to strand anybody in there. Nobody's in there. Yeah, let's do Walkie road, at least to that point. Let's do 2 Walkie roads. Alright, and then we need to get our power back up. Kind of ASAP. Yeah, let's just do that. And I'm going to click on it so we don't purchase too many things. There we go. You know what, that makes more sense. Look, they're both kind of oriented in the same or similar direction. Oh, is this 2 stadiums? I thought I built a hockey thing. I was wondering why the... Let's see, we'll get rid of this road too. Yeah, where's my hockey? There it is, hockey. Oh, look, that's a lot less... You know what? I changed my mind that quick. Let's, yeah, we'll put a hockey stadium someplace else. But just for the sake of symmetry, because this is something I can see from my house, right? Yeah, actually, I could click here and that'll get the road thing open. Yeah, I'm going to need to do this for a second. And then that. And then that. And then that. There we go. So we'll have two stadiums because... Yeah, maybe what we do is we put the hockey someplace else. Now, one of the things, I'm not putting, like, all the sports in over here, right? Because I want to do some experimenting. I know I said this about 2 months ago now. But I want to say, like, enthusiasm for sports. And I definitely read, you know, somebody was talking about the need for religion. Like, this is not, like, you got to be very aware, if, you know, oh, no one lives there, okay. Why does no one live there? Oh, never mind. I was thinking I was pointing down here. This is sympathy for religion, right? This is not how happy they are with the religion, right? This is like not low. This is actually good, right? Because, I mean, if you don't have churches, it's good because this means people don't want churches. Like if this was real high, it means people want churches and then they're going to be unhappy if they don't go to church. So it's absolutely good that this is low. I kind of wish they wouldn't do that. Like to me, I don't know. It seems like they should all be positives, like, you know, government loyalty. If there's no loyalty, is that good or a bad thing, right? Like if they had high loyalty, that might mean that they demand more stuff, where when it comes to the health, that's like a positive thing, where this is certainly the religious sympathy, in my opinion, is sort of flipped around, right? You want it to be low if you don't have churches. Sport enjoyment sounds like, you know, is that a positive or a negative? It gets very confusing. Like if this is high, does that mean they want a lot of sports, or does that mean they are happy with the sports that they have, right? And it's just, I think, like, why be that confusing about it? Like, to have things that are negative in here? Like, why not always present it as the positive? It wouldn't really change the mechanics, but it would not be as confusing, in my opinion. Like, and then when you start looking at this, it kind of becomes the same. Like, enthusiasm for sports, like if you put this on negative, that means you don't want much sports. Or does that mean that they, like in other words, the positive and negative here is kind of like the same issue, in my opinion. Anyway, I think you understand what I mean. Like, anti-religious propaganda, okay, great. They don't want as much religion, but I don't know. Why not just do them all, positive or negative, if you know what I'm saying? Like, why have the benefit be the opposite? Like, plus should always be positive, in other words. But then again, I guess it's a matter of opinion. If you got a lot of churches, which you can't build, well, whatever. But be aware of that. The bottom line is, don't just assume that, you got to be aware that sometimes it's the enthusiasm for sports versus actually the happiness because of sports. It's like two different things. So, in any event, well, there we go. So we're making good progress. I'm not sure how much time I let go between the episodes, but we're pretty darn close to getting this done. And, we'll start getting into here. Look, our trees are looking grown up a little bit more. I think maybe they're a little too close, but we'll see. We can always take out every other one, I think. I don't know how. I know we can delete them, but I'm not sure how accurate the deleting is. We could always just replant them all if we had to. And so there we go. So we got 2 new stadiums, and yeah, I'm not that I'm unimpressed with the hockey thing, but it's a little smaller than I was hoping for. I was hoping for something. I mean, I know a football stadium is going to be bigger than a hockey one, but the hockey one's kind of a lot smaller. And we're going for looks when it comes to the grandest city and workers and resources. So there we go. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Let me know if you have any comments. I'm going to do back-to-back videos more or less today, so I probably won't get too many of your comments. But if you know of another mod that's like a monument kind of thing in particular, or grand building, I did see the Kremlin mod, and when I read about it, just the comments, it's like, oh, the textures are really horrible. So I don't know if I want to add something that doesn't, and they were saying they just don't fit in with the rest of the textures that well. I might take a look at it on a test map, but if this is about, let's make it look nice with our grand city here. So, all right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.